bruh, bruh, bruh. Pfft. Yeah, I met a guy down the dark end of a dark alley. Said he had some information for me, something I might want to see. He was right. What did the man have? He had all the great games that are on sale on Steam this weekend.
Well, hey there, everybody. Yeah, I'm gonna try and keep this one short. I wanted to do a Saturday Steam sale video, mostly to kind of restore a feeling of normality, because we had a little family tragedy. Our cat died, and I know that yeah, oh, it's just a cat. Yeah, whatever. Like he had been there through everything. This is a cat who chose our family. Like he was a stray and he just came up to my kids one day. My wife has that video of the day that he's like, "You people, this is what I'm doing." And then he did like for over a decade. And like, what a champ. Like, what an absolute champion of a man. And I miss the hell out of him. So like whatever. Anyway, I'm keeping it together. You keep it together. Let's talk about video games because restore a little normalcy and feel good again about things. Because yeah, sometimes you get sad, and I'd be sad right now. Let's talk about video games. Maybe not be so sad. First up, the Earth 2150 trilogy. Yeah, I know that I'm not allowed to play RTSs, or like not to play them. I could play them. You wouldn't know. Uh, oh my God, was that the Normandy? Anyway, but yeah, the Earth it's like 2140, 2150, and 2160. Yeah, yeah, 40, 50, 60. Um, oh, that's right. 2150 is a trilogy, but 2140 and 2160 can also be purchased alongside for 60% off at 1077. Yeah, it's funny whenever RTSs are selling themselves, they're always like, "Look, it's really cool." And it's all like cutscene stuff. This is what you want to see when you're looking at an RTS. You want to be like, "Okay, what do the actual unit deployments look like? What does the graphical interface look like? Does it look like I could just pick this up with my previous knowledge of how RTSs work?" That's what you want to see when you're selling an RTS. I don't know why every time I do this, if it's an RTS, they'll be like, "Yeah, we've got video footage," and the video footage is like just the cutscenes, and you're like, "No gameplay?" Because like people who play RTSs know what RTS gameplay looks like. Anyway, yeah, get the whole thing for 60% off at 1077. The 2150 trilogy 499. You don't have to have played any one of these to play the others or to play the others, but these are some like beloved RTSs by people who play RTSs, and it's got that classic RTS vibe. So if you like a real-time strategy game, yeah, these ones they're like over 20 years old now, but still kicking booty. Anyway, up next, yeah, I picked up the Ding Dong XL, which is a see, look, gameplay. It is so much more fun than you think. You're the ball and you are traveling from ding to dong, from one end of the screen to the other, vertically, and you rack up points. These games, this developer has just a series of so this is 49 cents. You can get the Ding Dong XL, but here's what you actually want to do is get the Arcade Score Chaser bundle. Is 451. I have this and it's 9 items. I believe it's 8 games and 1 DLC, and I have played 7 of these 8 game or 7 of these 9 games. No, yeah, 7 of 8, however many there are. I've played almost all of them and enjoyed every single one. So, if you like old school arcade style gameplay, 51% off for just the 49-cent ding dong, or you can just get the whole set for 72% off, 451, and you get 9 things, you know? So, pretty solid deal there. Project Snake. This is a game that I really like. You can see what it is. You can tell what it is. It's Snake. Like you played on your Nokia phone back in the day, except for it's got, extra things. There are mole people going around and you can shoot, and you can also switch between your drill bit head and your shooting head. And yeah, they're like all sorts of power-ups and stuff. Really adds a lot to the this is a snake game mechanic. And so yeah, it really is fun. It takes that simple concept that you already know and love and adds a lot to it. And this is a cheap one. It's 99 cents at 50% off. um Magic Cat, my daughter loved this game. um we are a cat loving family. I don't know if you could tell. And yeah, so I got this game because it showed up as like, hey, this is on sale and it's got a cute cat in it. And I was like, well, I don't know if the game's going to be any good, but we'll give it a shot. It is a really cool 16-bit, so Super Mario World ish platformer. And it's, yeah, it's really cool. It's kind of I would say more Kirby-ish than Super Mario World-ish, but very fun, really really cool platformer, very cute. And yeah, like I say, my daughter really loved this one, and it is 50% off, 249 for the Magic Cat. Dropsol. This is a very budget game. That I know when you look at it, you're going to be like, yeah, that looks very budget. Yeah, it's got them old school like CGA graphics, which if you remember that era of computing, there's something endearing about seeing that teal and magenta sort of a graphical look that you're like, yep, those are colors that it was easy for those early processors to make. And so, yeah, this looks like a game of a certain era, and it's exactly what you think it is. Open the parasol, you drop a little slower, close it, you drop a little faster, and you are trying to make it as far down as you can, and your parasol only has so much life. So, like a really simple game, but very cool looking for an era of computing, and it's 49 cents at 51% off. So, I like Dropsol. Shadowrun Trilogy Deluxe. So, Shadowrun Returns, Shadowrun the like which kind of invented the cyberpunk RPG genre, you know, on the SNES back in the day. And so the Shadowrun Returns is a remake of that original game that is very well received, as a matter of fact, very positive. So that's actually really impressive for a remake of a classic game that a lot of people really really love. Anyway, so Shadowrun Returns by itself, 75% off, 374. It's the first game in the series, but you can get the entire trilogy at 77% off for 1594. And all of these games are very highly regarded, very beloved. And so yeah, you get it with the DLCs and everything. You get some of the greatest cyberpunk RPGs ever made. And it's that classic isometric RPG feel. So, in a cyberpunk world, it just there's something just right about like cyberpunk RPG isometric. Oh, those are just, that's like peanut butter and jelly. Those things just go together. Anyway, so yeah, or all the Shadowrun games which are cyberpunk are like 70 something percent off, and 77 if you get the whole bundle. So, yeah, highly recommend that you get those. Postal, this is another Redux. Yeah, the very controversial game from back in the day, because we are all massively violent people because of the video games that we've played. It's funny because like for those of us who were around for Columbine, which like, and everybody was like, hey, yeah, it's Doom or whatever that's making these kids violent, or Mortal Kombat. I forget which game they blamed it on. Honestly, I was actually out of the country at the time. But yeah, like uh, uh, everybody was like, a lot of people in the country were like, "Oh, video games making you violent," and this one, because there were actual instances of postal employees going nutso with guns. People were like, "Oh, that's bad taste," and it's like, yeah, it's a bad taste shooter. Like, may contain content inappropriate for children. Absolutely, it does. That's the entire game, is that it's inappropriate for children. Um, but it's also an isometric shooter, and you know how I feel about isometric shooters. If it's an isometric shooter, I'm in. I'm absolutely in. And so, yeah, the fact that and it goes top downsy in stages as well. Anyway, like, I don't know, if you're easily offended, don't get it. But it's 88% off at a buck 07, and also you can get Postal 2. You can get all the Postals, but Postal 2, do I not have Postal 2 up here? Apparently I don't. But yeah, Postal 2 is the first one to go yeah, it's the first game in the Postal series to go 3D, and gave it the sort of Grand Theft Auto treatment. And was, equally super controversial because reasons, but it's 90% off for 99 cents. So, yeah, a controversial game, but overwhelmingly positively reviewed. I'm not the only person who is like, yes, this game may not be the most tactful, tasteful thing ever made, but it's well made and it's fun. And so, like, things that are well made and fun in the world of video games get played. And so that's just what it is. It's 90% off at 99 cents. If you think you'd like it, you probably would. Speaking of which, Valferris, which is, oh, come now, play the vid. Anyway, it's an action platformer that is very like heavy metal, and yeah, has a crazy soundtrack and whatnot. And it's very violent, it's very difficult. So some would call it like a souls like shooter, but yeah, it's really cool. That much is definitely true. And it's 85% off at 374. um Next up, Sundered Eldritch Edition. So yeah, this one is a roguelike that is also a Metroidvania, and I'm always impressed. Oh yeah, from the creators of Jotun, from the creators of Spiritfarer. Yeah, which Spiritfarer also might be on sale right now. You might want to check that. I might want to check that after this. I remember seeing it earlier in the week, and it was like a weekday deal, and I don't know if it's still running. Anyway, regardless. But this one does the roguelike and the Metroidvania, and it has, yeah, blend of Metroidvania and Lovecraft, but it has that real Don Bluthy graphical style that that yeah, Thunder Lotus Games, the developer, is known for, like what you see in Jotun and whatnot. So yeah, it's a really cool art style. It's a really cool approach to a game that's pretty darn fun, I thought. Anyway, 85% off, 299 for the Sundered. Islanders. This is one of my wife's favorite games. It is one of the most casual, relaxing puzzle games ever. Basically, you're given an island and then you have to figure out where to put stuff. And everywhere you put a little, living quarter or bit of industry or whatever, you have to zone it out. And some things can't be next to each other or you're going to lose points. And some things you really want to put next to each other because you'll maximize points. And so it becomes an entire game of like, how smartly can you play this? It's a puzzler that doesn't tell you overtly like, hey, you're doing puzzles. Like, it's a very casual game, has a very casual soundtrack, looks great, and is very simple to learn, but like you can build skill in the game. I am not great at it. I've not reviewed this one yet on my channel, but I should probably have my wife capture the footage because she's like 1,000% better at this game than I am. That's that's just the truth of it. Anyway, 75% off, a buck 24 on the Islanders. Oh, I did have Postal too. Anyway, SteamWorld Dig, the original SteamWorld game, which is it, just remembering Metroidvania. I didn't want to say roguelike because it like every single SteamWorld game brings something new to the table. There's one that's like a stealth shooter that's turn based, and there's one that's like uh a roguelike, and this one's like a Metroidvania Boulder Dash kind of a deal. And yeah, all of these SteamWorld games are excellently made and very much beloved, but yeah, they are all very different from each other. And so yeah, it's easy like I'm always forgetting like which one is which. This is the Metroidvania one, and it's super cool. These games are so very beloved, and it's 91% off at 89 cents. Don't buy the whole SteamWorld thing right now. They just released SteamWorld Build, which looks cool, but I'm not getting it till it gets a little cheaper. That's just me. And so, yeah. Actually, how much is SteamWorld Build? It's actually, I don't know. This actually looks more like a game that my wife would enjoy than it does like one that I would enjoy. If I'm being perfectly honest. So I might get this for her. Anyway, but yeah, I didn't even have that on the list. Um, I did have Ubermosh on the list. Ubermosh, all of these games, they're like they're basically arena battlers with different things. Some versions of Ubermosh have swords and guns, and others like it's just different vibes of the same style of pixel-based arena shooter, and so they're all basically Akane. Um, they each kind of do their own thing. I need to do a full breakdown of all of these games, but there's like seven of them, eight of them, so no, nine of them. Anyway, there's nine of them apparently. And it's 90% off. You get all nine games for 49 cents, which is not very much. And they are, in fact, really cool pixel based arena battlers that control really well and are well designed. Um, it's just a very much a budget game. Uh, Not sure why, because there is, like I said, Akane is not much more than these games. I mean, in terms of what it brings to the table, uh, and these games are infinitely cheaper than Akane, which is a really good game. These are also good games. I'm just saying, for 49 cents, you get a whole bunch of them. Last but not least, Cave Blazers. Now, this says mixed, and that's just recently. Overall, very positive. I looked at those mixed reviews, and a lot of them were basically like, yeah, um, this is never going to be Spelunky. And it's like, okay, there can't be more than one roguelike going into a mine, getting loot, powering yourself up, and then seeing how far in you can go and how long you can play. There can't be more than one of those games because I hate to tell you, like, I have reviewed several such things and have enjoyed multiples of them. And so, like, all of these reviews that are like, yeah, it's not Spelunky, it's like, yeah, that's right. And Hollow Knight is not Metroid. Like, but they're similar. They're built on the same concept. They can both exist at the same time and nobody's feelings get hurt. Like, if you play this game, there's no part of you that could be like, well, they tried to make Spelunky and they didn't. It's like, no, this is its own thing. And if you think that it's not quite as good as Spelunky, then you're probably like right on par with a lot of people. But if you sit there and tell me it's not fun, I don't know what to tell you. I always have fun with this game. Like, it's just fun. It's a fun game. I like it. Um, and so I have no problem recommending it to you. But if you're going to be a hater just because it's not Spelunky, I'm telling you right now, it's not Spelunky because this says Cave Blazers, which last I checked is not Spelunky. Anyway, 92% off at 79 cents. Anyway, well, hey, I blathered on longer than I should have, but it did help me get distracted from my boy that we lost today. What a champion. You know, always remember that man. We are his name was Ash, and we're gonna bury him in our backyard under an ash tree. Like, we're buying an ash tree tomorrow. And we're gonna bury him under it because, like, he meant the world to us. So, like, yeah, again, this one goes out to him. Like, he gave us a lifetime of just absolute love, and nothing wrong with that. Like, it was always simple with him. It's like, when I come up to you, you love me. That's what you do. Like, that is the arrangement that we have. Um, and he put up with a lot. My God, he put up with a lot. Uh, but he was always very much like, when I come to you, you pet me. That's what we do. And it's like, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, my man. I, I only had a finite amount of time with you, and I'm glad that I didn't turn you away, especially toward the end. Anyway, whenever he was like, you need to love me, I'd be like, yes, I do. Yes, I actually do. Anyway, people, that's going to do it for this one. Thank you for listening to me, and I'll be back next week. It'll be better, probably a little bit longer, more games. But yeah, just trying to get right back on the horse in this one. Thanks for being here for this one. I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.